the American dream. To his last breath, he'll always be a soldier.
Heard on great radio stations all across America. It's the National Defense with Randy Miller and Jerry Newberry.
The National Defense is made possible by Ford. Go further. By the Home Depot. More saving, more doing. By VSP. For more information on how VSP can help you and your corrective vision needs, visit VSP.com. By the Wounded Warrior Project. Serving those who've sacrificed for over 15 years. Online at woundedwarriorproject.org. By Gillette On Demand. Get Gillette quality blades delivered directly to your door with Gillette On Demand. Learn more at GilletteOnDemand.com. By Morgan Stanley. Discover how they can help you achieve your long-term financial goals at morganstanley.com. By Farmers Insurance. We know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two. Find an agent at farmers.com. By Gorilla Glue, makers of Gorilla Tape for the toughest jobs on planet Earth. And by Gillette Clear Gel Antiperspirant. It goes on clear and keeps you fresh all day, and it doesn't leave white marks on your shirt.
Hey, welcome into the National Defense. It's Randy Miller and Jerry Newberry. And Jerry, as always, our dedication.
Hey, this show's for you, the men and women serving in our military. It's for the millions of veterans out there, and it's for all your families. We're here for you. We love you. God bless you.
Man, I'll tell you what, Gorilla Glue has been a great partner on the program.
Yes.
And today, we get the big cheeses. We get the two big cheeses. I mean, if there is, I don't know if there's...
We've got the gorillas.
We do. Yeah, and I don't know if there's something called a Gorilla Glue gun, but if there were, that's who we got. Rob Lackman is here, and Rob, of course, the Chief Operating Officer of Gorilla Glue, and Aaron Fromm, the Chief Marketing Officer. How are you guys this morning?
We're doing great. Well, you gave me a promotion, which is great.
Oh, I'm sorry, Aaron.
Marketing director, but that's great. It's on my boss.
Well, hey, that's what we're here for.
Well, I gave you the promotion in front of the right guy, didn't I?
Yeah, exactly. I love it. This is a good call for you.
I got to tell you, Randy, Gorilla Glue and Gorilla Tape,
yep,
and O'Keefe's,
yes.
I don't know what I'd do without, especially when I'm on the road in the RV.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, those things come in so handy, and of course, O'Keefe's is an everyday thing for me. So,
and Rob, you tell us a little bit about your military service, if you will.
Yeah, so I was in the United States Navy for 5 years, from 1975 to 1980. So, and I did not step on a ship, fortunately.
What'd you do?
I was in a secret military base in Hawaii, actually, for my whole duration. So it was nice duty, but learned a lot and really enjoyed my enlistment.
You poor guy.
I know. 5 years
in Hawaii.
I had five years in Hawaii.
Tough,
I mean,
man.
Yeah, no.
Well, thanks for your service.
Thanks for your service, Rob. Hey, so
you're welcome.
We want to get into this Operation Gratitude that you guys.
Oh man, what a great
are doing. Yeah, I mean, I love the mission statement. Our simple mission is to say thank you to those who serve. And how long has Operation Gratitude been around?
Yeah, so Operation Gratitude's been around since 2003.
2003. And what exactly do you guys do in Operation Gratitude?
Yeah, so as you guys know, it was a grassroots movement to start with, and they continue to get volunteers. So we, when I came here 3.5 years ago, I was told that we were donating some tape, minor quantities, that go on every package that goes out to vets or first responders. So when I heard that, I got more actively involved and called, at that point in time, the CEO of Operation Gratitude and said, hey, we can do more than what we're doing. I want to understand the program more. So over the last couple of years, I've gotten involved in it. And we actually extended our package out, not only to cover tape, but also O'Keefe's product and also super glue. So we've really expanded it, and it goes in all the parcels that go out now, which is really cool because they're in over 100 different countries that we ship to.
Wow.
And, some of the climate is just perfect for our O'Keefe's product. So it's been well received by the vets and even first responders in the United States.
So, for our audience sake, what Operation Gratitude does is ships, for want of a better term, I guess, I don't really like the term, care packages to our troops. Not only to our troops, but veterans, caregivers, and first responders. And anyone who's been deployed or anyone who's visited Iraq or Afghanistan or a VA hospital, et cetera, knows how important those packages are from home. So it's a great effort, great organization.
Absolutely.
And we've, in fact, in the past, I have anyway, been lucky enough to been involved to a very small extent with Operation Gratitude. So that's a great project, and congratulations on being involved. Yeah. But I do have a serious question. So you used the packaging tape, obviously, on the packages.
Right.
Gorilla packaging tape. And if you use any super glue, Gorilla super glue, how the hell I get the packages open?
Yeah, what we do is a super glue. It goes inside the package for these guys. We found out that it's really handy in some of these other countries to help end anything they have on their tour of duty or first responders. So
yeah, absolutely.
Jerry was under the impression you were pranking the troops.
No, wouldn't do that.
That's some tough stuff. We want to get in the package, though.
Hey, so I see some numbers here. Operation Gratitude, and we've had them on the program before, Jerry.
Yeah.
Great organization. Over 2.2 million packages sent out to the troops, and then they also go to, as Rob mentioned, to first responders and caregivers, which is so important. But what other kinds of things go into those packages? Do you know?
Yeah, there's a variation of different things. They'll send socks. They'll send peanuts. They'll send little wristbands, Christmas cards, handwritten notes. I mean, it's a collection of what donations they can get during that time period.
Right. And the numbers.
So it's really cool. So there's a box. You could get a box. This year or next year, the box would be completely different, and the goods that are placed inside.
And the number of products is unbelievable. 90 million individual products have been sent.
That's correct. So there's great participation by U.S. companies. So just a little background. In 2018, an individual named Kevin Smeagol took over. He's the CEO now of Operation Gratitude, and he's a retired Marine vet. So he's really ambitious. This guy's really done a lot to move this forward. So we created a bridge council, and it's a combination of 20 different companies in the United States that actually give time and product to their organization. Some of the other companies are Target, Kids, Team Kids, CBS, and the Honor Flight is also involved in this. And there's many more, but it's really increased the donations and also the public service across the country of doing neat things for these group of people.
A big concern of ours for many years, actually now, Randy, is as troops have been withdrawn from Iraq and Afghanistan and other places in the world, and we've got troops all over the world. Right. People don't even think about the continent of Africa, for example. Our concern has been the waning of interest by the public in our military and our veterans.
Or just a lack of knowledge.
Yeah. Do you find that the degree of volunteerism is and enthusiasm is the same, or is it diminishing?
Oh, I think it's definitely growing in the right direction. I mean, some of the events we have, you can feel the energy, and I think the volunteers continue to increase as well, and partners to make sure that these people feel important, right? Because I think the whole concept was that they're forgotten, and we want to get back to the vets are important, and so are first responders as well.
Sure.
So we came up with a neat slogan for this year: make every minute count. So we send out one care package every minute. That's unbelievable.
Oh man! Wow.
And the other thing we've done is on the first responder side, we've actually created this neat pouch. I think Aaron sent a picture of it that we give out to graduating police officers as well. So we visit the police graduation sites and we hand these out, and that's been a really neat thing to do as well.
Well, that's terrific, and it's good news that people still care and people are still enthused about getting involved. And thanks for the first responder thing. My son-in-law is a fireman and EMT volunteer, by the way, so that's sort of a personal thing there.
Right.
But O'Keefe's, let's talk about O'Keefe's.
I want to say a word about O'Keefe's. So I live on a horse ranch, where my wife is a horse trainer, and she has gone through, and I think I mentioned it to Aaron before, but she has gone through 20 different products for cracked fingers and cracked hands. And when she finally found O'Keefe's, it was, just the light came on in her eyes. You know what I mean? She's just so happy about it. And this winter has been like the never-ending winter.
Yes.
I can't imagine O'Keefe's. Hey, thank you guys so much for being a part of the program. We really appreciate it. I'd love to see some of those testimonial emails and text and share those with our audience if we can. If you guys could send us some.
Absolutely, yeah. We'd love to do that.
That would be great. We've been talking with Aaron Fromm, the marketing director, and CMO Rob Lackman here today, the COO. Rob, thank you so much. Aaron, thank you, and continued good luck on Operation Gratitude. What a great mission.
Well, thank you both as well, and thank all the veterans and first responders as well. Those guys make it happen for the country, and I can tell you guys personally, I'm proud to be part of this opportunity to serve again in a different way. So
absolutely. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Talk to you soon. We'll be right back here in the National Defense.
On the battlefield, there's a saying America's military men and women live by. Never leave a fallen warrior behind, ever. Off the battlefield, Wounded Warrior Project operates with the same goal. Wounded Warrior Project was created to help our men and women returning home with the scars of war, whether those scars are physical or mental. Wounded Warrior Project. We never leave a fallen warrior behind, ever. Learn more about what we do at woundedwarriorproject.org.
Welcome back to the National Defense. It's Randy Miller. Time now for a brand new money brief from Morgan Stanley. And with us this week and for the next few weeks, Senior Vice President, Wealth Manager, and former Army officer and West Point graduate, Peter Perez. Pete, how are you?
I'm doing great. How about you?
Hey, doing good. Thank you so much for being with us. We've been talking about financial literacy, and it's been great. It's been so helpful to our listeners. And to that end, can we get down to basics? Talk about saving, planning, investing. It's so complicated.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
So let's break it down. If you look at money in its simplest form, it's a medium of exchange, a store of value, and a unit of account. Now think about it. You earn money in exchange for your service. You can count or measure how much money you've earned, as well as account for how much something costs. And then finally, you can save your money to store its value for future use.
I've never thought of money in such simple terms.
Yeah, money's actually pretty simple when you think about it.
Okay, well, you said money was a medium of exchange, a store of value, a unit of account. Explain to me what you mean by a store of value.
Well, at Morgan Stanley, we see the store of value element as a pyramid.
Like in the ancient Egypt.
Exactly, but in more ways than one. So at the base of the pyramid, we earn it or make it, right?
Yeah.
Think about paychecks, budgeting, maximizing your benefits.
Right.
So once you earn it, you want to protect it for your family. Think about making sure you keep good credit, you have insurance, and you plan for the unexpected. And remember, you want to protect the value of what you've already earned.
I think I see where you're going with this.
You're a quick learner.
Oh, yeah.
So next, you want to save money. Set aside some money for a rainy day, say for retirement, say college, what have you. You can do it a little at a time each month. Remember, money is a store of value. So, by saving, you're storing the value of your work or service. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of the squirrel gathering and the acorns and putting them away for the winter.
You got it, but not quite.
What, the squirrel gathered and saved the acorns, right?
Yeah, you got it, but one big difference. So unlike the squirrel's acorns, your savings can grow. You can build wealth through investment in various diverse assets, among them stocks, bonds, and the like. And by doing this, you not only have the money you've saved, but that money actually does its own earning instead of your having to work for it.
Okay, now I got it. So through earning, protecting, and saving money, is there an opportunity to grow your money?
I couldn't say it any better myself. Thank you for the privilege of sharing this with our troops.
Hey, Peter, thank you so much. Peter Perez is with us, and we'll be back next week with a brand new money brief from Morgan Stanley right here on the National Defense.
This radio program does not provide individually tailored advice. It has been prepared without regard to the individual financial circumstances and objectives of persons who receive it. The strategies discussed may not be suitable for all individuals. Morgan Stanley recommends that individuals independently evaluate particular strategies and encourage them to seek the advice of a financial advisor. The appropriateness of a particular strategy will depend on individual circumstances and objectives. Investing involves risk, including the possible loss of principal. Diversification does not guarantee a profit or protect against loss in a declining financial market. Morgan Stanley Smith Barney, LLC, member SIPC.
We'll be right back on the National Defense right after this word from Farmers Insurance. When you're dealing with life's ups and downs, it helps to know the ins and outs of insurance. Farmers Insurance has been sharing practical insurance knowledge for more than 89 years. At Farmers, we know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two. Find an agent at farmers.com.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Hey, welcome back into the National Defense. It's Randy Miller and Jerry Newberry, and it's a big month here, Jerry. March is Brain Injury Awareness Month, and I'm hot and cold on that because, first of all, I hate that we have to have a month designated to brain awareness.
Yeah, it should be. There should be a different designation for that. But I suppose gives opportunity to focus on it and bring awareness to the issue, which is a lot larger than people understand.
Absolutely, and that's what Wounded Warrior Project has been doing for a long time and continue to do. And Alex Balbir from Wounded Warrior Project, he's the director of Warrior Care Network and Independent Services at Wounded Warrior. He's on the phone with us. Alex, how are you?
I'm doing well. Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming on. You're a Navy reservist right now, right?
That's correct, sir.
And hey, no sirs on this program.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, really, we just get confused with that thing. But
used to it. It's a habit.
I've talked. We've talked to a lot of folks there at Wounded Warrior, and the services that you guys provide, especially with the Warrior Care Network, are pretty far-reaching. But with brain injuries, talk to us about some of the challenges there.
Yeah, absolutely. There are some significant challenges. And I do want to reiterate what you guys said. Every day at Wounded Warrior Project is Brain Injury Awareness Day for us. And every day is post-traumatic stress and mental health awareness for us. So we always keep that in mind. But I absolutely agree with you that having a day or a month focus on brain injury does bring the awareness that's needed. Right. What we do know about brain injuries, they're very complex. So we have a saying in the field that says, if you've seen one brain injury, you've seen one brain injury, because they tend to present very differently depending on how the nature of the incident, whether it was let's say a closed head injury, so you just bump your head a little bit, or it was something that was maybe a little bit more traumatic. And we've seen in the media the IEDs, explosions, and those types of things. But they're very different. And once you've seen one, you've only seen one. So you have to be able to work with that specific individual to help manage some of the issues that they're dealing with. And there are a variety of issues, including sleep issues, issues with memory, issues with focus, and those types of things.
Now, TBI, traumatic brain injuries, aren't always occurred by IEDs, correct?
That's correct. We do think we see on the news and on the media the IEDs, but you also have downrange in a combat scenario. You have individuals who may not be sleeping well. They'll get in their transport vehicle and they'll get into an accident. So you have what's called a closed head injury from a motor vehicle accident. So you do see those varieties, and you do see the IEDs. And there's some discussion as to what happens after those specific types of injuries. Are they different? Do they present with different symptoms? And this is something that we work. But in the end, we really have to focus on that individual and what symptoms they're presenting and treat that individual for those symptoms that they're presenting with, regardless of how that brain injury had occurred.
Now, you mentioned a list of symptoms the injured person has. What kind of impact does it have on their families and friends and so forth?
That's a very good question. We see a lot of changes. We also see cases where somebody's exposed or has a traumatic brain injury, and it's maybe of the mild variety. And please don't let the mild fool you about what's the prognosis for that individual. But we see individuals who may just stand up and shake the dust off and just go about their normal day, not knowing they may have sustained an injury. And then you see individuals who will present within the next 24, 48, 72 hours, maybe a little bit of nausea, vomiting, perhaps even slurred speech if there's a significant trauma to the brain. But then you'll also see folks who may not understand what's going on with them. They'll become a little bit more irritable, a little bit more on edge, a little anxious. And these are, things that you really have to track very closely after a suspected head injury or a diagnosed head injury by a clinician or a provider, doctor, medic.
So,
go ahead.
I was just going to say, some of these numbers, Alex, are staggering. I mean, 400,000 service members have had some kind of a brain injury since 2001. I mean, that's a huge number.
Yeah, it is.
And I know that Wounded Warrior Project, you guys have not only done a lot of the traditional things with this situation, but you've got this program called the Independence Program, and does that use alternative therapies and different types of approaches?
Yeah, great discussion. We've got a variety or a whole suite of services that we do provide for service members with traumatic brain injury and post-traumatic stress as well. Specifically, our Independence Program is focused on the catastrophically injured, the severely injured warrior who sustained either a moderate or severe traumatic brain injury or has also sustained a spinal cord injury. In those particular programs, we know that with that level of injury, they're getting good clinical care. They're getting to the right doctors. Most of them are, and I'm just going to generalize that most of them really are getting that care.
Sure.
But what happens when they transition with those injuries from a fixed facility like a hospital or a military treatment facility, when they transition back home? That's where the recovery begins. And our Independence Program was designed to help that type of transition, help that functional independence while at home. These are individuals who are dealing with memory issues. They need to be prompted to take their medications, those types of things. They need transportation to get to their doctors, and they also need transportation and support to achieve other goals. They want to engage with other warriors. They want to be a part of the group. They don't want to feel isolated just because they may be dependent on a family support member or a caregiver. That's what our Independence Program really does. We work with our warriors and families in a community setting, developing individualized plans for them so that they can achieve some of their physical goals, their social goals, and really start to decrease that level of isolation, because after that brain injury, you can tend to feel isolated and really detached from, from the society and from that group that you fought so hard with.
Yeah, and you guys do it with all kinds of different things, music therapy, art therapy, some things that maybe people don't associate with that kind of treatment.
That's correct. We tend to think about treatment for brain injuries and physical injuries, physical therapy, recreational therapy, occupational therapy. But it's these types of services, the music therapy, the art therapy, they're really quite an amazing intervention. And I've been actually very pleasantly surprised to see how many warriors that we work with who are engaged in and want to learn music and really access their sort of creative side through the art therapy. We've also seen a lot of interest in equine therapy, working with horses. It really brings sort of a calm, a soothing to them, and it's really something that's really surprised me. And these are types of services that are generally not covered by the VA. So they are alternative therapies, but we're starting to see a great body of evidence to support that these types of interventions really do complement the traditional standard level of care that they do get. And there's really a gravitation towards those alternative therapies that's showing some great promise and recovery for these warriors in their communities.
Yeah, I mean, some of these things that you're doing, and that's a great point that you just made, Alex, about the VA not covering some of these programs, and that's why Wounded Warrior, you guys don't charge for these programs. I mean, where else would these folks get these kind of treatments?
Generally speaking, most of these treatments are provided through veteran service organizations like Wounded Warrior Project or some of our colleagues in the space. And that's really something that we really have to build towards. And, the VA is a healthcare system, and they do, tend to follow that more of a traditional healthcare approach.
Right.
Once we start presenting that body of information, that body of data showing that that these types of services they're requested, they're desired, and the data that supports that they are really healing and reducing some of their symptoms and improving their focus and their cognition, that's where we'll be able to really position to the VA leadership and to healthcare leaders all over the country, saying that this level of intervention, and it's not very expensive, this level of intervention can really generate some amazing results. And it's for our warriors that we work with, all post 9/11 warriors and Wounded Warrior Project, these are at no cost to them.
And because of Wounded Warriors' willingness and ability to embrace alternative therapies, that has actually, in a lot of cases, what's the word I want, transferred to the VA. I mean, at one time, Randy, remember we talked about why wouldn't VA recognize the importance of service animals?
Yeah.
And
right.
So they're finally doing that, and that's just one example. I mean, but Wounded Warriors has been at the vanguard of providing alternative therapies, and it's paying off.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've seen the VA really start to move and adapt for adaptive sports as well.
Right.
So that's been another great feature, that and service animals as well. All amazing benefits for warriors. I mean, whatever we need to do and whatever it takes to get that warrior to a better place, to get them functionally, emotionally, spiritually independent. It's really something that Wounded Warrior Project believes in, and it's a good addition. It's an augment service that we do provide in addition to some of our more direct clinical service provisions.
Great stuff, man. Well, Alex, we're I guess just woundedwarriorproject.org, the best place for folks to go and find out about the network.
It is, absolutely. And right now we're also celebrating our Brain Injury Awareness Day on Capitol Hill. We just spent some time up there advocating for brain injury, as well as promoting additional programs for long-term brain injury care. You can find out all that information on woundedwarriorproject.org.
Cool. Well, thank you guys so much, and thanks for being a part of the program. We really appreciate it.
And thank you for having us. We greatly appreciate it.
Thanks.
We'll be right back with the National Defense right after this word from Farmers Insurance. When you're dealing with life's ups and downs, it helps to know the ins and outs of insurance. Farmers Insurance has been sharing practical insurance knowledge for more than 89 years. At Farmers, we know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two. Find an agent at farmers.com.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Welcome back to the National Defense. It's Randy Miller, and time now for a brand new segment of Eye Insights with VSP Vision Care. And Dr. Robert Meisel is back with us once again. And this is a biggie. American Diabetes Alert Day is coming up on March 27th. And this is something that, my last eye exam, I was just floored that they were talking about diabetes and how to use that eye exam to detect that. But Dr. Meisel, it's a big thing. How can diabetes affect your eyes?
Well, it's an epidemic. Diabetes is growing by leaps and bounds, probably because of our dietary changes and also our lack of exercise. But diabetes certainly is a hidden problem. People don't even know they have it a lot of times. They might have fluctuating vision, but in general, they might have fatigue, thirst, frequent urination, and they really don't even know they have this. But in the annual eye exam from your VSP network doctor, you can see if there's any changes in the blood vessels in the back of the eye. And those can be very, very damaging. In fact, it's one of the leading causes of blindness in adults.
Oh, wow. Yeah, and that was really amazing to me when my doctor was talking to me about things they could detect now with the tools that they have at the eye exam. Something else that was pointed out: diabetic retinopathy. Am I saying that correctly?
Yeah, exactly correct. It's caused by when the blood vessels in the back of the eye are damaged, and they can leak fluids through the walls of the blood vessels and can actually bleed in the capillaries. Oh, wow. And that is nasty looking. Yeah. And the problem is that, again, for a lot of people, even when they have diabetes, even when they're diagnosed, they're in denial because nothing hurts. And by the time something hurts, it's progressed a long ways, and they don't even know they have retinopathy because if it doesn't occur in the central part of the vision, it's not even noticeable to the person. So the only way to detect that is from a comprehensive eye exam. And that's important to do on an annual basis. Every year. Everybody
at risk for that?
Well, yes. I'll say that as everybody's at risk. Certainly the people that are type 1 especially, which is insulin-dependent diabetics, are at greater risk. Type 2s, though, if they've had the disease for many years, certainly are at risk. But people, like I said, if they're not taking good care of themselves and watching their A1C levels and their blood sugars, certainly are running a very big risk of permanent eye damage.
Wow. So once you detect it, how do you and treat it? Is there? You talked about prevention, but how do you treat diabetic retinopathy?
Well, the first factor is just making sure that they are doing all three of the things that they need to do for their control of their diabetes. Number 1 is exercise, number 2 is diet control, and number 3 is medication. When those things are being done and there still are problems, certainly then lasering the retina with certain kinds of lasers are used for certain kinds of eye diseases, but in this case it's a specific type to treat the blood vessels in the back of the eye.
Well, I mean, it's great. That's why early detection is important, and we'll talk more about that. Hey, Dr. Meisel, VSP Vision Care has a lot of exciting things for our particular audience. Can you talk about what you guys are doing? We
are a vision carrier participating in the Federal Dental and Vision Insurance Program, known as FedVIP. For those military families and retirees that enrolled in November, they now have access starting January 1st of this year to comprehensive vision coverage through FedVIP. If you missed the open season and are a newly eligible TRICARE member or are retiring at any point this year, you can review VSP plan options at choosevsp.com. And when you're ready to learn how to enroll, go to benefeds.com to learn about enrollment options.
Dr. Meisel, thank you so much. We'll be back here next week with a brand new segment of Eye Insights with VSP Vision Care right here on the National Defense.